Welcome to Light After Dark. Your support is everything to us. 90% of you haven't subscribed yet, so please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps us keep bringing you stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark. And let us know where you're watching from, your city, your country. We absolutely love reading your comments. Now, let's step into today's story. The silence in my office wasn't peaceful. It pressed against my chest, tight and unrelenting. A quiet so deep it amplified every thought I'd been avoiding. Outside the glass window, the city rested under a dull midnight haze. My office light was the only one still burning in the building, stretching long shadows across paperwork I had stopped caring about hours ago. My heels lay forgotten beneath the desk. My blouse, once crisp, was now wrinkled, worn by a day that felt longer than it should have. On my desk sat an old photograph. Daniel and I, the kids. A beach in Santa Monica, years ago. He had his arm around my waist, wearing that confident half smile I once believed meant security. I was holding April, our youngest, while the older two ran barefoot near the water. At the time, I thought we were a team. A family. I thought we had built something unbreakable. But memories are careful liars. They show you the moments, not what disappears after them. Over time, our home became a stage. There was no shouting, no open conflict, just quiet routines and practiced smiles. A performance we both knew by heart. Looking at that photo now, it felt like a picture of strangers. Daniel Adams wasn't cruel in obvious ways. He never raised his voice, never slammed doors. But control doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides behind calm words and steady eyes. He moved through life like a chess player, always 3 steps ahead. And somewhere along the way, I stopped being a partner and became part of the background. 19 years of marriage. 3 children. A house full of responsibilities. I used to believe that was love. Daniel hadn't always been this way. He once burned pancakes on Sundays and laughed at the wrong parts of documentaries. He used to whisper nonsense stories into my hair at night. But after his promotion to regional director, with a bigger office and more power, something shifted. Every conversation became strategic. Every interaction felt measured. He said his Thursday trips were necessary, oversight, meetings, travel. I never questioned it. In fact, I welcomed the space. Those Thursdays became my breath of air. Quiet dinners, silence, a reminder that I still existed. Then one Thursday, I wore a silk blouse, not for him. For myself, to remember the woman I had been before life became a checklist. He came home early. His eyes paused on me, slow and unreadable. "Interviews go well?" I asked. "Scheduled for Monday," he replied calmly. Always calm, always vague. We ate dinner like colleagues, watched TV without seeing it, and went to bed without touching. 2 weeks later, on a forced family trip to Nashville, a trip he insisted would be good for appearances, something cracked. We smiled in photos. We laughed when the kids laughed. But behind his eyes, there was nothing. On the drive home, I turned off the music. "Daniel," I said, gripping the steering wheel, "do you ever think about starting over?" He stared out the window. "Why? Because we're not really married anymore?" I said quietly. "We're just managing a life." He turned to me, his expression unreadable. "If that's something you feel you need," he said, "you have my permission." That was the moment I knew. He wasn't surprised. He was prepared. When we got home, I kissed the kids goodnight and went straight to bed. My heart wasn't racing from guilt, it was racing from clarity. The next day, Daniel left early, said he was helping his father. Even the children looked unconvinced. By noon, my phone rang. It was his mother. Her voice shook as she spoke about a DNA ancestry kit we had all done months earlier, just for fun. The results had uncovered a connection that didn't make sense. A woman had reached out, confused, insistent. She claimed to be related to April. My breath caught. Nothing added up. Names surfaced. Old conversations. A man from my past, someone I trusted, someone I had confided in during lonely years. I called him that night. He answered calmly, like he'd been expecting it. "Grace," he said gently, "we need to talk." And the world tilted. But the truth is, I wasn't the only one watching. From my car, parked across the street, I observed patterns, routines, repetition every Thursday, the same dinner, the same lights turning off around midnight. I didn't confront, I collected. A friend helped me organize records, not out of anger, but with precision. I wasn't building revenge, I was building certainty. Then one afternoon, my assistant placed an envelope on my desk. Inside were old photos. Years old. Moments I had never been part of. The truth wasn't new. It was buried, and now it was awake. I called the man involved. We met somewhere forgettable, a place that wouldn't remember us. I laid out the facts, the timelines, the silence. I didn't threaten him. I didn't need to. He signed everything within 24 hours. Then I visited my lawyer. "I want peace," I said. "And I want control of my future." The papers were served 2 days later. Grace cried. She said she never meant for things to unravel this way. But intentions don't erase choices. She moved out a week later. The house went quiet again, but this time it didn't suffocate me. The truth had already done the damage. I kept the house. I kept my children. And for the first time in years, I slept without a weight on my chest. Betrayal doesn't always come with shouting or broken doors. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in silence, in distance, in eyes that no longer meet. And in that silence, I learned something important. Not every bond is meant to be saved. Some are meant to be released once you finally see them clearly. Because when the truth steps into the light, there's no going back. And I never did. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by this story, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you next time